Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. So, scene with Brooklyn, Maxie, and Lucy. Now, everything was going all well. Brooklyn was there telling Maxie her plan as far as giving Deception back to Maxie because of everything that wound up happening, her financial situation because of, the spying and stuff like that. So she wants to sit there and try to do right by her. And then Lucy comes in, and things go left pretty fast. And while Brooklyn's they're trying to explain her intentions, like, why she's there, she's not getting the word inchwise. Lucy comes in there and she just starts firing calls. She's like, what are you doing here? This, that, and the third, and just really tries to rip into her. And what I liked today was the fact that Brooklyn defended herself. The fact that Brooklyn was like, you know what, listen, you're not my child. I don't know who you are raising your voice at me. And pretty much just put her in place, reminding her that, you know what, listen, um, Tracy is her grandmother. Right now, at this point, she has 51%. Like, she belongs there more than Lucy does at this point. And she let her know that. And I like that scene because after a while, she was trying to explain to her, but you're not just going to be just coming up in somebody's face, yelling and screaming and stuff like that, and just thinking that's okay. So I totally understood why she fired back at her. After Lucy does leave, you know, or maybe this was before, because Maxie was like, well, how do you plan on doing that? Of course, she's like, well, I didn't really get to step two yet. I was like, okay, so you don't really have a plan. And granted, she says that she's going to blackmail Tracy with who knows at this point, but that's what she planned on doing. I don't see this plan actually going well. Um, so it's going to be a hilarious train wreck. But I give Brooklyn points because she is Cynthia trying. Now, while that's going on, this scene, this scene is somewhat laughable, but at the same time, it's laughable, and then it's, I guess, kind of good, right? Like Robert sits there and asks Diane, so what were you doing to me in bed last night? I mean, what was I good or anything like that? Like, and I'm just like, bro, why are you asking this? Why are you asking this? First, he asked her about the work case, I think it was yesterday, and she gave him an answer, which I was surprised about. But now they're at the coffee house or whatever, and he's asking, how is his performance? I feel like at this point, Robert has been with enough women to sit there and know, was this performance good or bad? I don't think that's something you need to sit there and ask. And even if you do ask, I mean, either she could sit there and lie to you, or I don't know. I don't know. The point is, it's like, I feel like that's not something you should ever really ask a woman, ever. But then they get into a point where, Diane wants to then try to establish, like, what they are to each other. Are they boyfriend and girlfriend? Are they hookup buddies? What are they? And more importantly, the next time some sort of X just drops from the sky or they need something or whatever, she wants to be known that she's going to be a priority and that, he's not just going to just dip on her to go and coddle or take care of one of his exes. I mean, yeah, they have history, they have children together, whatever, but, even with Anna, but you gotta sit there and set some boundaries. You gotta do that. Now, this whole scene with Blaze and Christina, you know, I kept asking in the live stream a lot, do you think that Blaze is going to be okay with the fact that she is going to be a surrogate? And I feel like she probably wouldn't. I feel like most people wouldn't in that situation. But, she's like, hey, after she hears the entire story again for everyone to sit there and listen to again, she asks, is this something that you want? she fully believes that she's doing the right thing, so she's like, yeah, cool. And she is cool with continue to sit there and see where things go, which is I mean, it's a good thing. It's not like it should be an automatic deal breaker, but I feel like some people probably may not want to sit there and deal with a situation like that. But then my whole thing is, okay, so Christina, now you're going to be running Charlie's, you're going to be running this youth center, and you're going to be sitting there dating. Well, are you kidding me? Most people have a hard time doing one, let alone two, and then you're going to somehow manage to find time to date? You don't think that you're just adding on a little bit too much? Because I feel like at this point, things are going to start to crumble and collapse. There's a saying. What is it? I really had to think about it for Jack of all trades, master of none. Right? Jack of all trades, master of none. Even with those two businesses, I feel like that could be a problem. Now you're dating? Pregnant? Just like, I don't see it. I'm not gonna lie, the conversation between Jordan and Alexis was pretty pointless because Alexis just points out that regardless of how they feel, if they feel like the three of them is rushing this whole thing or not, it's not up to them. It's up to the three of them to sit there and decide how they want to move in life with this whole thing. So it becomes kind of pointless. I mean, yeah, Jordan has reservations and so does Alexis, but it's a moot point. So the whole interaction being there was for absolutely nothing. Now, the conversation between Sonny and Laura was particularly interesting in the beginning because when he goes there to meet Laura at her office, the first thing he says is, "Do you think this is a good idea? You kind of hanging out with the local mobster, scrutiny and stuff like that." And she's like, "Oh, it's fine. I got nothing to hide." So I want to sit there and talk to you about this murder case. So you're just having a little powwow, just consulting or having the mob boss of Port Charles consult in an official murder case, and you don't see anything wrong with. Okay, it's amazing how this woman is actually still a mayor. Is just beyond me. I mean, I know it's a soap opera, but Jesus Christ, something has to be grounded in reality. And this whole scene is just like, really? But Laura does ask Sonny, if Austin, if Cyrus had anything to do with Austin's death. And Sonny says no. He may not like him, he may think he's a scumbag, but he's not stupid. And besides, Austin is more of a asset than a liability to how he feels. Well, on top of that, Sonny does sit there and say that Cyrus doesn't really have any money and manpower. So it's not like he could have been watching Austin go to police in the first place. I don't feel that Sonny truly knows Cyrus's finances. Cyrus may be sitting there busting tables and dealing with that maitre d' that's a dick. But I have to sit there and believe that he does actually have some money stashed away for a rainy day. But he says he doesn't have any finances, so most likely he didn't try to put a hit on it. Which does, make Laura happy. A conversation early with Marty was wondering if Cyrus had anything to do with Austin's death. And after he talks to Sonny, Martin comes back in and, he's like, hey, and she's like, hey, listen, I talked to Sonny. And Sonny says that Cyrus probably didn't have anything to do with it. The whole time they're talking, Laura's assistant says that she's happy that, she feels like that Cyrus didn't do anything because she wants to then believe that he's possibly changed. Spoiler alert, he didn't, but that's what she wants to believe. Plus that whole little reverse psychology manipulation thing that Cyrus did on Laura. Clearly seems like it's still working. So part of me is going to be just laugh my ass off when, Laura does find out that Cyrus is still shady. He's still a bad dude or whatever. I'm going to laugh. So during the holiday times, they've been trying to do these whole cutesy, this is us kind of moments, right? You have this whole thing with Sonny explaining to Donna about the hat that Mike was wearing in the picture and how he can't find it. He doesn't know where it's at. Donna wishes upon a star, and then out of nowhere, towards the end, when Michael's there, Michael's in the park, they find Mike's hat and give it to Sonny, and it's like, Donna's like, Merry Christmas, whatever. Got you a Christmas gift, and I guess it's supposed to be this whole nice little thing about Mike sitting there looking over them and making sure they're okay and just letting them know as a signal that, hey, listen, I'm still looking over you, which is, I guess, nice. Don't get me wrong. Listen, I'm no stranger to cute or touching scenes. Okay, I'm literally in the fifth season of This Is Us right now. Don't spoil it. But I don't know. I just, I know we're going to be getting more of these, and I'm going to be honest. I'm trying not to sit there and bitch and complain about them. I really am doing my best, and I guess on some level, I guess it's kind of nice. I'll say that much. Um, Now, with Cody and Sasha, Sasha giving Cody a Christmas gift, a book or whatever about the Grand Canyons or valleys or some sort of book or whatever. And, Cody's just like, listen, I don't want you to be indebted to me. And he realizes that, just because, he did something nice for her doesn't mean she should have to sit there and rush her feelings. She's still dealing with Brando's death. She's still dealing with Liam and everything like that. And he doesn't want to feel like she's rushing it just to do something nice for him. He's like, listen, if we're going to be friends, we're going to be friends. It's cool. No big deal. Um, and I get it. And yes, I did sit there and I did make a, on a Days of Our Lives review, I did sit there and make a comment about how men generally they don't have to sit there and wait. They have other options. They could sit there and choose to be with someone else. But just to kind of refine that a little bit, it depends on the situation. You know, it's kind of a case by case basis. I feel like that is more than appropriate to sit there and make sure that she's good if she wants to even sit there and step back onto the dating world. Given what she's been through, that is strength enough right there. Um, that was one that happened in this episode. I feel like that's about it. Again, you could with this episode, you could have missed this episode, watched my review, watched Brock TV's review, and you would have practically been caught up. Um, you know, you just going through this weird thing right now, right? It was good maybe a couple of days ago. Yesterday was decent, and the day before that, I think it was actually pretty chill. Then in a couple episodes before that, it was blah. And now we go back to today's episode, and it's like blah. Now I know Monday. It looks like it's actually going to be interesting. It seems that Brendan doesn't. Brendan, I think his name. Brendan doesn't sit there and take no for an answer. As you saw in the previews, if you watch the previews, that he does sit there and ask Carly out again, like, "Oh, I want to sit there and get to know you." What is there to know? She just said that she's seeing somebody. She got a man, bro. like, what do you mean? What do you mean you want to get to know her? I'm like, my whole thing was like, if the park incident wasn't creepy enough for her to creep her out, I'm pretty sure this is going to be setting red flags at this point. Um, I feel like that's about it. Now tonight they're going to be doing the Emmys, so I will not be live streaming. Um, but if you're a member, then we'll sit there and talk about the Emmys. We'll talk about the show, today's episode, as far as today's episode and this past week's episode. Um, it's so weird not live streaming. I rarely will sit there and not live stream. The only times I don't live stream is if it's a holiday, if I'm sick, or like tonight with the Emmys. So usually my closing line is, well, at this point I think everyone knows my closing line is. But anyway, if I did forget anything, write it down in the comment section. Yeah, if you're a member, I will sit there and see you tomorrow. And if you're not a member, join. Otherwise, I'll sit there and see you on Monday. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got. So with that being said, I'm going to go. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Yeah, I kind of forgot my outro at that point.